One of these two teams can snatch their playoff spot. So Boston having a fall from grace after their undefeated 2013 campaign. And both teams here are looking to capitalize on that. So set to kick things off, New York with the pull. Lucas Murphy. It's going to roll out of bounds. Katzenbach is going to try to stop it. Seeing a slightly new look Philadelphia Spinners team here. One of the big stories in these last few weeks in the MLU has been the addition of a bunch of new players for the Spinners. They have grabbed, I believe, 5 standout players, college players, some currently in high school, or some currently in college, some just recent graduates. It looks like there's an injury out on the field. Matt Glazer making contact with Matt Hennessy there. Hennessy's going to take an injury substitution. Evan Walter, a new name for New York, going to step on the field now. So bringing in the disc is one of those players from the University of Pittsburgh, Marcus Rainey-Dropcho. He is playing offense for the Spinners, starting out on the offensive line this week. Rainwater facing a lot of pressure from Smash Anderson. Randolph bobbles the disc but catches it. He's got an upline shot from Rainey-Dropcho. Breaks to Katzenbach. Around to Hiranet. Rainwater wide open in the end zone. Smash closing, but Rainwater is going to haul it in. Gets the Spinners on the board. 1-0. New York on offense for the first time this afternoon. Saul, Mike Hennessy, Chris Mazer, Ben Faust, Jake Herman, Dave Vukovic, Robbie Gillies. Gillies coming under for the gainer. Faust be given a lot of space deep by Art Shull of the Spinners. And he's going to take advantage of it. Mike Hennessy's going to put it up. Faust in the end zone. And an easy grab. Faust taking advantage of his defender playing underneath. As New York pulls off here to Philadelphia, Hiranet's going to let the pull bounce by him, grab the disc from out of bounds. Speaking with Coach Anthony Nunez of the Rumble before the game, asking him what was on his mind. His team has been in I think a free fall is a nice way to put it. They had a historically poor performance against the Boston Whitecaps last weekend, scoring only 6 points on offense. That was the lowest total of all time in the MLU. Devaney gets, looks like cleated or gets his foot stepped on. And that's going to lead to an injury timeout while Devaney takes a second to gather himself on the field. So 2 minutes into this first quarter, score tied 1-1. We're going to see Max Thorne, another of those new players from the University of Pittsburgh, out on the field. He's going to take Devaney's place. Guarded by Evan Walter for New York. Hiranet's going to set up a wide swing over to Glazer. Glazer sees Rainey-Dropcho going deep. Brings it back in, finds Hiranet. Round to Thorne again. Thorne to Rainey-Dropcho. Rainwater, short 5-yard gainer. Over to Brandolph. Sees Thorne streaking across, but elects to let him go. And Hiranet's going to sail one to the back corner for Glazer, and Glazer's going to miss it. It's just out of reach for Glazer. Hiranet tried that floating across the cross-field throw again, and just a little too far for Matt Glazer. Smash Anderson now. Holding possession for New York. Looping throw to Matt Wilson, up to Marquez Brownlee. And Brownlee is going to send it deep. Sean Murray's going to put the Jets on. It's just going to sail. There's a little bit of a breeze. Too far for New York. That's what happens when you're up on a rooftop here. The Eagles Nest in Union City, Roosevelt High School, is about 3 stories up in the sky. We're playing on top of the roof of the high school, so it does get breezy. Smash checking it in on here in net. Glazer centers to Rainwater for another underneath for Rainwater. Breaks to Thorne. Thorne sees Rainey drop show. And again, the breeze just takes that one out of reach of the receiver. To Lucas Murphy, Matt Wilson. An offhanded backhand to Brownlee. Brownlee in the same position he was a point ago. Sean Murray sees. Looks like Evan Walter going deep. Walter's going to turn it under, and he's going to bring that in. He's going to loop it around to Anderson. Anderson covered by Rainwater, and Anderson's going to sky for the goal. And there's Smash. Before I even opened my mouth, he said, "We got to beat the streak. We got to break the streak." Talking about how they've had a series of just terrible games for them. They have to catch the disc. That's the simplest thing that he could tell me. We can't win games if we don't catch. I think New York has averaged, I believe, 4 throws a possession and over the last few games, and that's led to quite a few number of turnovers. Philadelphia's getting a chance now to center the disc, and they're going to bring it on offense. Dave Bayer on one throw. Looks for Esser deep, guarded by Walter. And Esser looks like he's trying to draw a foul. He went up early and just threw his body in front of Walter. I'm not sure the ref made the right call there. It looks like Esser should have just caught the disc. Fans are not happy with that call. So he's going to get it on the goal line. He's going to find Damiano on the front cone, guarded by Austin Raymond. One of the things that's led to the Rumble slide these last few games is they have just been low on numbers. Their attendance, their injured players have skyrocketed. They just simply aren't able to keep bodies on the field. So when they do get a little bit of a roll going, they lose a guy. So what they brought in a few new players these last couple weeks. While Mazur's going to look for Faust off a short pull. Faust is going to bid, and he's going to come down just short. Falls on his knee there. Looks like the disc tipped off his fingers. Faust, I heard in the pregame introductions, is a new father, so congratulations to him. Philadelphia is now getting a chance to get their break back and regain the lead. Pass over to Scholl. Scholl up to Peters, who's wide open. Peters, one of the best arms in the game. Flips it up to Chow. Chow sees Lindsay, and he just throws it right back to Faust, playing catch with the wrong team. Faust almost gives it back again. Push pass over to Hennessy. And Faust looks for Ease. He's guarded by Braz. Ease is going to box out, and he's just going to miss it too. He worried too much about putting his body on Braz. Playing a little defensive positioning, but out of reach. Peters winding up, and a hand block by Chris Mazur. The reigning MVP shows that he's still got something left. Puts the hand on the disc before a spinner, and that's going to be a D for Mazur. A wide swing over to Hennessy. to Faust, guarded by Shull. Over to Hennessy. Back to Jake Herman. Jake Herman gets boxed around there. And he's going to draw a contact foul, 10 yards free for Herman. Hennessy's going to get the swing. Around to Ease now. Ease are streaking for the cone. Ease fakes the break. Just back on this close sideline. And a high release up to Faust. Faust tries to milk it in for the goal, just outside. Over to Bosco. A little bit of clutter back for New York. And Colton lays out for a big D, preventing the score. Lays through Jake Herman. Gives Philly a chance to regain this break here. Up to Braz. Braz sends it downfield to Panna. He's got Shull in isolation. Back to Braz. Braz tips it off his fingers. He's going to reel it in about 10 yards further back. Finds Panna again. Panna playing close to the disc now. And again, Chow toes it in for the catch. And he's going to burn a timeout. So with Philadelphia, New York tied up at 2 apiece, Philadelphia's going to get a chance to bring in their offensive players for this possession. Philadelphia ready to check it in now. Brandoff's going to bring it in for the Spinners. Spinners out in a vertical stack offense. New York playing man-to-man defense. 2 minutes left in the first quarter. Game tied 2 apiece. Greener goes up for the early strike cut. Finds Katzenbach is going to get it. Flips it up to Thorne. Rainwater playing close. Looked off. Net at midfield. Round to Thorne. Up to Glazer. And Glazer's going to break it to Rainwater. So Philadelphia makes good use of their timeout. Brings in their offense. Philadelphia brings in a deep pull just out of bounds, back of the end zone for New York. Azer's going to get a chance to center it here. Go to work against this Philadelphia D-line. D-line featuring two more of these new University of Pittsburgh players. Trent Dillon guarding his college teammate Isaac Saul, poaching out in the lane. Azer finds Gillies open. Underneath, Gillies up to Faust. Faust again with a big backhand fake. Breaks to Kuzmowicz. Over to Vukovic. Vukovic with a nice low backhand break to Gillies. And Gillies is going to put it in for Kuzmowicz. So New York, no problem catching the disc on that possession. Coach Maroon, before the game, I asked him, who are the players we should be looking out for this game? First guy he told me, Jake Rainwater. I said, why is that? He says, if we have the 2011 version of Jake Rainwater out here this season for the rest of our games these next 3 weeks, we make the playoffs. And I said, that's a pretty bold statement. As here net puts it up to the aforementioned Rainwater. Rainwater's going to bring it in 5 yards outside the end zone. Rainy drop show dancing, and he's going to get the score. Rainwater with his 3rd point of the afternoon. Alex Peters marking up against Isaac Saul. Peters returning from a 1-game suspension last week against the DC Current for a questionable play, while Graz goes for the bid against Hennessy. Esser goes for the bid against Bosco. He's out of range. Bosco back to Saul. Saul a wide swing to Kuzmowitz. Looks for Mike Hennessy there. He gets him. Hennessy facing some tough pressure. Good defense. And Esser gets a D, gets away with what looks like a hack foul on the thrower on Bosco, or on the receiver on Bosco. So as the first quarter goes to an end, the Philadelphia Spinners try to mack it into the end zone. I asked Coach Maroon about how he feels about all these roster changes. He's had to bring on 5 new players or make roster spots for the 5 new Pittsburgh guys who come onto the team. And he said people have been good with it. The guys who he had to move around weren't getting a lot of playing time anyway. So this helps the team, gives everybody more options to work with on the field, energizes the locker room a little bit. So he's feeling good about it. Fast finds Mazer. Up to Hennessy. What about Braz? Fast is going to break free deep. Esser tries to pick him up, but Fast reels it in. Gets on the board for his 2nd goal. Glazer, Katzenbach, Thorne, and Raineye drop Joe. Going back to Rainwater for a second. Coach Maroon says, yeah, if he's the 2011 version of Rainwater, we're not going to have a problem. Says he was, in his opinion, the 2nd best player in the country that year, and he's been plagued by injuries and fitness going along with that. It's hard to stay in shape when you are playing hurt, but if he can get back into shape, as a floaty throw goes up, and Brownlee's going to get the D, and we're going to drop show on a throw that just exposed a little too much to the wind there. So with New York 13 yards outside their end zone, Mike Sender's going to pick it up. Or Mike Hennessy, or Matt Hennessy rather. And here Net's going to back tag Sender, trying to get the D. Yeah, and that was a defensive play. The Spinners captain is going to get his ban, first ban of the game. Flagrant foul. He tries to protest, but yeah, they're going to hug it out.
Good call.
The orange bands, you'll recall, are awarded for, well, awarded, punished, call it what you will. They're given to players who commit flagrant fouls, severely unsportsmanlike plays, dangerous plays. Hennessy thought he was in on that. He's going to flip it over to Sender. So Sender is going to get the goal. Offensive line for the Spinners. See the young face of Jonah Wish, an old face in a way. He played with the Spinners last year when he was still in high school, which is impressive enough in its own right. And then he went on to a high-profile role with the University of Pittsburgh. And now he's taking the field. He was just a player who played through his years, beyond his years last year with the Spinners. And that disc up to Bear, Dave Bear, and it's going to bounce off the fence, out of bounds. Puck from Earls. This is Dan Glatt with the disc. One of the new additions for New York. Looping throw over to Baum, and the wind, again being the 8th defender for both teams here this afternoon, just pushes that out of reach. So Katzenbach's going to bring it in 5 yards outside the sideline, or 5 yards outside the end zone, and he's going to call a second timeout. 5. Bears going to cut up line. And Wish is going to get the quick flip. So Jonah Wish making his presence felt again. Alex Peters rolls one out of bounds. Bosco set to bring it in. Stranded looking for Mike Hennessy. Faust. We haven't seen a lot of drops from New York so far, and that, you know, maybe I'm going to jinx them, but Coach Nunez admitted their biggest problem. Ooh, this Paparone wraps himself around Vukovic's legs, brings him down. Not unlike the play that are here at his band, but Vukovic is just going to earn 10 yards. So Coach Nunez admits that we just dropped the disc too much. So far, that has not been the issue for New York as they are playing tight. And Jake Herman sends it into Cousin West. So tight game here. New York up 6-5 in this do-or-die game for both teams. Rainwater in isolation, guarded by Smash Anderson. Back to Hiernet, up to Katzenbach. Randolph surveys the field, looks for his opening, doesn't see it. And he's going to set it out for Rainwater again. Reset to Brandolph. Katzenbach on the far sideline, finds Max Thorne. Max Thorne puts it low for Katzenbach. Katzenbach playing with a black glove today. He has been playing with a white golf club, but Max Thorne going to pull it in from Hiernet. Current and recent college stars out here for both teams this afternoon. The Pittsburgh contingent's the most well-known one. Isaac Salter's picking up the disc, also a Pittsburgh alumnus. He finds Faust. He's isolated underneath. Faust flips it up to him. And Escher's going to sky for the D on a loopy, airy throw from Faust. Trent Dillon wide open across the field. Was guarding Mazer, now guarded by Mazer. Escher over to Braz. Escher to Art Scholl. Scholl sees Panda going away, looks him off, flips him back to Escher. Escher, one of the MVPs for Philadelphia so far this season, leading the team in points, goals and assists combined. Scholl tries to loop it around upfield of Panda. Saul gets his hand on it, comes away with it. He believes he had the D, and I think it was a lot closer than that. I think I would have let the play stand, but the refs are going to call it back. Give the disc back to Mike Panda. 15 yards outside the end zone. Scholl's going to flip it up to Escher, and Escher is going to add to his point total for the season. The fans are not in this league. The college to pro pipeline is alive and well. Some of the more, within the past 5 years, I think there's a pretty good contingent of players from Middlebury here for New York. Dan Glatt, who just centered the disc over to Vukovic. One of the new pickups for New York, along with teammates Jake Herman and Jonathan Cox. Helped take Middlebury College to the College National Championships several years ago as Smash overthrows Murphy, who stomps on the disc to stop it and also let out some frustration. And he's going to body up Marshall Ward. Gives him a little ear ringer. Ward's going to get 10 free yards. And a little bit of a reality check. Back to Wish. Wish over to Earls. Earls floats it up. Yang Xiao's going to come down with it. Covered by Jabron Miser, another new player for New York this week. Paparone, nobody on him. Earls controlling. And just out of reach. There's going to be a call. Looks like contact on the throw from Vukovic on New York. Looks like Earls is going to walk off on an injury. Hirnet is going to come on. Again, that orange band that clashes so well with his uniform because he committed a flagrant foul on a defensive player earlier in the quarter. It's not a bold-fashioned trend, as you might be thinking. So after Philadelphia moves up from the contact, they're 5 yards outside the end zone. Looking to grab a 2-point lead, a defensive break for the Spinners. Paparone, pretty easy juke around Matt Hennessy for New York position. Maser, the reigning 2013 Eastern Conference MVP here in the MLU, has not had a great season so far. I asked Coach Nunez about that, how he's handling the expectations, the increased pressure he faces from defense now that everybody knows about him. As Lindsey goes for the layout, gets tangled up in the feet of Robbie Gillies. Gillies is going to get 10 free. Coach Nunez says Maser is just the consummate professional. He is nursing some injuries as he floats it up to Kuzmowicz. Kuzmowicz boxes out well on Mike Barry, gets tripped up. Kuzmowicz gets the score. Now we'll see one of the men that Billy Maroon of the Spinners thinks can be an MVP, not just of the Spinners, but of the whole league, the whole country, really. Jake Rainwater back out on offense, guarded by Smash Anderson. Rainai Dropcho finds Thorne in the corner, and it's just going to fall too short. A little too much slip on that disc, a little too much edge on the disc from Rainai Dropcho. These new college players have, I would say they've struggled a little bit with the new disc. The professional disc is slightly different than the disc they're used to playing with in the college game, and floats a little bit differently, cuts a little differently. Just a little bit of an adjustment you need when you throw that disc at the end of a pulsar. It's a great disc. They just have to get used to it since they have not played with it so much. So their throws require a little bit more adjustment, and you've seen that in the players that are usually top-notch here having a little bit of an issue. So New York playing a little give and go, no problem with their hands so far. Chance to get the D. Floats up to center. Smashed by Rainwater. Katzenbach, nobody on him. Guarded by Miser. Here net centers to Bear. Whips it around the Thorn, back to Bear. Ran a Dropcho underneath. Guarded by Glatt. So Dave Bear, guarded by Brownlee, finds a nice break to Hirnet across the field. Hirnet up to Thorn. Thorn surveys, looks to do some work. Finds Hirnet just outside the end zone, flips to Rainwater. And Rainwater is going to get on the board with his third goal, missing some of their key players. Dan Haymang, Jack Marsh, Quinn Hunziker on defense. Hunziker is out on the sideline today in street clothes, and he's got looks like a club on his hand. Maybe a finger surgery or hand surgery, something like that. And given New York's propensity to drop the disc, I expected this game would be a little bit less competitive than it has been. As Gillies is going to run to, and he's not going to get it. Colton was there to provide pressure as Maser throws it away, just out of the reach of Gillies. So 30 seconds left, and Colton turfs it on the end zone line for Philadelphia. The worst kind of turnover. Back to Maser. Maser to Vukovic. Vukovic with an emphatic spike. The no field, they just had to flip it over the goal line and bring the score within one. So Philadelphia doing themselves no favors. Let's see if they can convert this. Less than 30 seconds left in this half. Brandoff up to Hiernet. Back to Brandoff. A little give and go. Up to Glazer. Glazer finds Arena. Drop Cho. Up to Damiano. To Rainwater. A little bit of slow down offense. Up to Damiano again. And the disc is going to be blown dead. Damiano with possession, 15 yards outside the end zone. Philadelphia just poor clock management. Win, and you're alive. Lose, and you have a nice couple last weeks enjoying the tour, and you get a long off season. You will not make the playoffs. So if you win this week, you got a chance for that last spot. And we'll see who wants to step up, who's going to bring their team to victory and help them claim that last spot in the playoffs. Hiernet receives, give and go from Brandoff. Hiernet guarded by Glatt. Over to Rainwater. New York bringing a lot of defensive pressure here. There's a call. Looks like a offensive foul. I'm not quite sure what exactly it was. But Philadelphia's going to get the disc back 10 yards behind. Matt Hennessy gets a D on an ill-advised throw from Rainwater. I think he saw Rainwater drop Joe streaking deep. And Jabron Miser, he's going to get his first goal as a professional. Brings the score. The Spinners, certainly a different team than we saw the last time I was up here, week 3, or week 2 rather. A lot of new faces on both sides of the disc. A lot of injuries on both sides of the disc. Thornton's going to get it out on the far sideline. He's in bounds. A little bit of a confusion on the sideline. Over to Earls. Earls is going to sail one out for Glazer. Flips it to Bear. Completes the arc to Earls. Looks for Thorne. Thorne 4 yards outside the end zone after a nice around the stack pass from Earls. Ready to drop Joe directing traffic. Pulls a little Moses, parts the seas, and finds Glazer with a punch spike and the goal. In this do or die game. Trent Dillon out on the field. Trent came in at the end of, I believe, the high school season back in 2012. Joined the Spinners. Just an electric defender, one of the quickest players on the field. Gives it his all every single point. Mazur's going to reel that in with a little somersault. And Vukovic, juggler, like a local New York guy. Yeah, he did the standard thing. You juggle the balls, you juggle the bowling pins. He also juggled swords, which was pretty cool. I think he had 3 of them. So I feel like part of the family getting to see a guy juggle swords. As Rainwater's going to put it up. Katzenbach is going to box out what he does so well and pulls it in. Matt Hennessy, he's just going to jog away. So this is the point in the game where I think we're going to get a sense of how it's going to close. We've seen a lot of pivotal third quarters for both these teams. Philadelphia is a team that if they're going to be in it, they're going to win it in the third quarter. They're going to stay close. Mazur's going to hang it up. Wish on his back. Shell's going to tip it. And Ease is going to grab it. In double coverage, kick spike, gets the goal. Sean Murray puts this one into the air for New York. Here now a quick release to Brandoff. Brandoff's so good with short break throws, quick flips. Rainey drop Joe up on the near sideline. Katzenbach survives the bid from Anderson. A little give and go for Philadelphia. Rainey drop Joe over to Rainwater. Rainwater up to Brandoff. Rainwater plays around the front cone. He's going to clear out. Randolph back to Hiernet. That rain eye drop show. On the far sideline. Glazer streaking to the front cone and not going to get it. Murray able to cut off on the mark. Marcus finds Hiernet. And he's going to get the quick dish and the score. Rainy drop show. Both teams looking to get a little bit of get an advantage over each other. Not a lot of breathing room so far in this game. Isaac Saul, the man in the medical tape mask. Over to Vukovic. Faust almost loses that one. He's going to sail it across the field to East for his second goal in a row. Pole's going to sail out of bounds. Brandolph's going to, I believe he's going to get to center it because it landed outside of the field of play. So he's going to bring it into the middle of the field. That's an advantage that you get when the pole does not land on the playing field proper. You get to center it in the middle of the field, give yourself a little bit more room to work with. So Brandolph over to Katzenbach, guarded by Anderson. Up to Thorne. Thorne guarded by Matt Wilson. Randolph a flick to Katzenbach. Anderson has yet to get a D this game. He's usually a very strong defender. He loves playing against Philadelphia. He's a New York boy. As Glazer flips it into Rainwater. Rainwater with his fourth goal of the afternoon. Just one of the all-stars for Philadelphia. I believe he was leading the team in points, although after today's game, I'm not sure if that'll still be the case, given the games that Hiernet and Rainwater are both having. But Matt Esser, just one of the purest, raw athletes out on the field in the league, I would say. Technically, it is his first year in the MLU, but he has played professional ultimate before. So he's not eligible for the Rookie of the Year category, or the Rookie of the Year award, as far as I believe. We're going to see a zone defense from Philadelphia. Their first look on this windy day. Try to make New York throw a few more passes. And Gillies is going to get the call. Alex Peters with contact on the mark strips the disc out of Gillies' hand. So he's going to get 10 free yards. Philadelphia falls back into their man defense. I think the zone wasn't a bad idea. Change things up since they're scoring so easily on man. Again, Mazer starting to pick the team up, put it on his back a little bit. Flips to, Murray's going to put this one in play for New York. Philadelphia back with their starting offensive line. Ran off a nice, easy grab off the pole, centers it on his chest. Rainwater over on the sideline, guarded by Miser. Flips to Glazer, to Hiernet. Damiano with quick movement. Again, Philadelphia excelling in those mid-range passes today. And up to Glazer. That was just beautiful offense as Glazer finishes it off with a kick spike, almost kicks it over the... Again, Philadelphia comes down in their zone defensive look. Dilling chasing the disc. Trying to make New York throw a lot of passes. That's what you generally want to do in your zone. They're going to fall out of it, go to a man defense. Dillon almost gets the poach D. Just out of reach about 3 times on that possession for him. Mazer guarded by Lindsay. Panna guarding Saul. Saul, a nice flip to Kuzmowitz in the corner, front corner of the end zone. On this blustery afternoon, we got a nail biter. Tie game, 14-14. Both teams playing for their playoff lives. Win and you survive and play another day. Lose and you play another day. Just doesn't really matter that much in the standings. Glazer in the backfield or in the downfield looks to get open. Handlers lick him off. Hiernet finds Max Thorne. Max Thorne, very good thrower. Again, Glazer doesn't seem to be guarded by anybody. Miser's sitting in the backfield for New York. He's not taking anyone. So one man is going unguarded this whole time for Philadelphia. Unit finds Katzenbach with the come under. Katzenbach flips back. Unit fakes hammer. Little quick dish. Again playing their small ball over to Rainey drop choke. Oh, and Marquez Brownlee flips his hand up, doesn't actually get the D, but distracts Rainey drop choke enough to force the turnover. Isaac Hall, the man in the medical tape mask, with possession. He lets that one fly before the referees had called it back in, so they're going to send it back. Saul, I believe, had some facial surgery, so he's just sporting a bandage, but makes him look a little bit tougher than he did before. Flips it up to Vukovic. Fake to get Paparon off the mark. Over to Kuzmwitz. Kuzmwitz is going to put it up for Mazer, and that's going to float. We're going to get a party underneath the disc. And Gillies is going to grab the tip off the second effort. Kick spike. Disc coming in hot off the pole from Sean Murray. Dave Bayer, haven't said his name in a while. Finds Rainwater. Up to here net, uncovered. Not a guy you want to leave unguarded. Rainwater again. Finds Katzenbach. Katzenbach's going to put his body on the line, and he's going to grab the disc, and he's going to score. And the big man goes down and gets it. Punch spike. Braz, Esser, Colton, Scholl, and Peters looking to regain their break, get their lead from New York that they gave up on their last defensive possession. Saul finds Vukovic at the 20, up to Herman. Sees ease. Philadelphia again in their zone. Looks like it's decomposing naturally into a man defense. Scholl on Mazer now. Looks like he was going to have a shot at the D, but Mazer closed harder than he thought. He's wide open. Paparon closing, but not able to get the mark on. And Faust is going to put it up around Dylan. Covered by Scholl, and Mazer's going to grab it. He's going to throw it up. Walks the line, rallies the troops, and puts the disc in play. The rolling pull up to here net. Thorne, Brandolph, and Rainwater in that order. Rainwater under pressure. Thorne sees Rainer Dropshot going deep, doesn't hit his college teammate. Instead finds Rainwater coming across for a quick flip. Philadelphia, I expect, will probably try to play their short game again, as they've been pretty successful. Their 5 to 10 yard passes. Randolph gets up for that throw that floats a little bit. Flips it over to Katzenbach again. Again, mostly 5 yard passes, and Randolph's going to get it out of the reach of Blatt. Blatt throws his hands up in frustration. They're just ready to keep fighting. Vukovic on the far sideline, guarded by Scholl. Gillies marked by Lindsay. Lindsay tightens up. That's man defense. Dylan close on the mark. Saul looking for contact, and, as Dylan gives him a little pat down. These guys very familiar with each other, former college teammates. Around to Vukovic. Dylan again showing his quick feet. And Mike Hennessy can't grab that one off the turf. I think he had it if he laid out. I'm not quite sure what held him up. But Philadelphia is going to get a chance to break again and reclaim their lead. And Scholl can't hold on to it. Dylan puts a little bit of heat on that. Throws the high cheese at Scholl. Scholl's just going to lose track of it. He's going to look to get it back, but he can't poach off his guy. Gillies on the sideline now. Round to Vukovic, back to Saul. Saul's going to send it deep to Gillies, guarded by Lindsay. And Gillies holds it up, shows him the disc, jumps over him, throws it back. Another New York looking out to get another break on this defensive possession, or this defensive opportunity. They are up one break. A break again is when you start the point on defense and you were able to get a turnover and convert for the score. As in tennis, you're expected to score the points that you serve. So you're expected to score your offensive points in Ultimate. So breaks make all the difference. If the defense can get a turnover on you, that's what's going to make a difference in the game. That's when you see a score differential, that's the reason. Thorn back with the disc. 30 seconds left in the third quarter. Up to Katzenbach. Rainy Dropcho in for the score. And Philadelphia ties it up with 25 seconds left in the third. 17-17. Katzenbach to Rainy Dropcho. As New York readies their offensive line to receive the disc, Dan Heyman, number 2 for New York, walking off the field. Heyman, one of the many injured players that New York is having to do battle without, both today and Heyman, I think, is out for the season. Missing, who else? Jack Marsh, Milo Snyder. And a turnover. New York's going to turn the disc over. Peters is going to look to get a fast break. Katzenbach in on this defensive point. And Mazur's going to swat it out of the air. Lindsay watched him do it. Mazur is only about 6 feet tall. Lindsay's about 6'3", and he had his feet squarely in the end zone. This is it. 10 minutes left. Whichever team is left standing at the end of this, unless we go to overtime, is going to have a chance to claim the second and final playoff spot here in Eastern Conference. The score tied 17-17. We're kicking it off. Mazur over to Hennessy, guarded by Esser. Esser flips it up, high one to Faust. Faust up to Kuzmowicz. Flip to nobody. Hannah's going to pick it up off the turnover for Philadelphia, over to Colton. Over to Shull. Shull's going to air one out for Dylan, guarded by Saul. And Dylan's going to sky for the goal. It looked like it was over his head, but he's got rubber band for a delay of game penalty. So they're going to move back 10 yards. Or rather, this is their second ban, so I believe that there's a yardage penalty for that. They have to pull from the back of their end zone, which they're doing. Refs are calling. There's some confusion over where the team sets up when the one team pulls from the back of your end zone. So Philadelphia going to reset it. New York's going to move up 20 yards. Philadelphia back 20 yards. I don't know what happens if you get your third or fourth band, if you have to move back even further, because the Spinners would be off the roof at this point. Maybe you have to throw with your offhand, I'm not sure. So New York is going to start with good field position. Philadelphia looks like they tried to roll it out of bounds. It was a pretty poor pull from Alex Peters. Alliteration aside, it leaves New York just 20 yards to work with to score here. Saul's going to flip it up to Mazur. Trent Dillon is going to get the D. Just a deflection D for Philadelphia off a lazy throw by Isaac Saul. Dillon is going to put it up. The Paperon guarded by Brownlee. Brownlee known for his leaping ability, and he's going to get the D again. Brownlee awarded last week he was the Spike Ball Defensive Player of the Week, and he gets another D. So maybe not the matchup you want to challenge deep. New York going to get a chance to hold on their offensive possession here. Lucas Murphy over to Isaac Saul. Surveys. Flip up to Anderson at half field. Over to Miser. Miser over to Saul again. And Jack Casey had half step behind Iggy Ease. Iggy Ease makes it look the wind coming in. I would say off the mountains, but it's just the Manhattan skyline. Very strong coming in from the east here. And it's holding all the discs up, as you can see on that pole. It's hard to get a clean, crisp throw out this afternoon. One player we haven't seen after the first point for Philadelphia, Patrick Deviney. I believe he's still sidelined. Whether he got cleated or twisted something, I'm not sure. Deviney, one of the points leaders. And a second foul on Matt Wilson. Randolph's going to move up another 10 yards. Deviney, one of the fastest players in the league. Randolph's going to put it up to Katzenbach in the far corner. Just out of reach. Katzenbach, not the man he used to be. Still a great player, but the wind helped play D on that and push that disc down. So New York is going to get a chance to break here. Matt Wilson over to Sender. Up to Walter. Walter, a promising young player for the Rumble, one of their new additions. Over to Wilson. Up to Murray. Brownlee, a gifted thrower on the far sideline. Shouldn't have said that. He turfed it. So they're going to get back on defense. Philadelphia with a chance to reclaim the offensive point. One of these days, I'd like someone to explain to me why jinxing is a thing. I don't say anything about his throws the whole game, and he drops it. Blazer's going to put it up to Rainey Dropcho. Dropcho's going to toe the line in the blue for the men in blue. Rouse with the pull, taking advantage of the wind to get a couple extra yards in the upwind. Wind has been a factor as Panda goes for the D on Vukovic. Vukovic is going to put it up. Lindsey's there. Able to just make Gillies jump too early. So Lindsey makes up for his last error with the disc when he had possession. Raz is going to center the pile. Lindsey almost grabs it from the dog pile there. Earls with a poor decision, not taking into account the wind that has plagued these upwind throws all game long. Esser goes for the D on Bosco. Bosco's going to air it out. Dillon on Vukovic. He's trailing. Vukovic has got his body in the way. And Vukovic is going to hold on. Takes the backpack from Dillon. Dillon didn't see the disc. He just played them go to overtime. So I know that they would like to get an extra point or two, widen their lead. Get the lead and then widen it. Everybody lining up on the far side of the field in a vertical stack, isolating the handlers in the middle of the field. Katzenbach and Dave Baer playing catch. Matt Wilson to Hiernett, or tries to de-Hiernett rather. Hiernett up to Damiano. Damiano looking to put it around. Hiernett's going to get it just outside the end zone. Flip to Glazer. Wilson upset with himself. But Philadelphia gets the lead. Chris Mazer and the Rumble offensive team ready to do their thing. Mike Hennessy grabs it in the far corner, centers to Mazer. Mazer up to Kuzmowicz. Marked by Colton. Two very quick players, a good matchup. Raz on Mazer. That's a matchup we're used to seeing a lot. Esser on Vukovic. Vukovic has been pretty effective this game so far, so I guess he's going to get the tough defender from Esser. Has earned that matchup. Mazer to Hennessy. Center to the middle. Hennessy resets up to Ease. And Ease is able to loop it around Esser, finds Vukovic. The sun beating down on the players after 3.5 quarters of hard work. Randolph guarded by Anderson. This is an interesting matchup. Anderson, a tall, lanky defender. I think it's not a bad decision from Coach Nunez. Randolph is going to try and throw around his mark. Quick give and goes. Anderson's long arms, you're seeing here, able to harass the break lanes that Randolph wants. Reina Dropcho just out of the reach of Max Thorne. A little too easy, a little too casual on that throw. So Mike Sender is going to bring it up for New York. Glazer tips it away from Sean Murray on the goal line. Couldn't grab the Callahan. But I think that defense really belongs to Dave Randolph, playing extremely tight on his charge, forcing his guy to leave the backfield. And what else did Center have to do but to throw to Murray, who was fully covered? So Randolph now checking it in for Philadelphia. Internet now covered by Anderson. Katzenbach bodies out. Gets a little rumble from Murray. The old whim of the wind. The wind coming off the Hudson River over to my right, over east of us here. And New York going in the downwind direction now. Most of the points have been scored in that direction. A pick called on New York. That's when one of your offensive players sets like a screen in basketball. Vukovic is going to put up for Ease again. Ease makes a fantastic grab! Grabs the tailing edge of the disc. I think he threw it out of the stadium. And kayaks, I don't know, maybe just cars. Catching the spike from Iggy Ease. New York with a rolling pull now. After the delay of game. Back him up 20 yards. So here Net's going to center it. We're going to bring it into play, rather. New York playing more ferocious defense. Rainwater over to Rain. Dropcho. Dropcho a little more conservative with the disc after his last easy throwaway. Up to Brandolph. Brandolph's going to flip to Rain. Mazer around to Vukovic. Vukovic puts on a little fourth or fifth gear, grabs the around throw, looking to draw a foul off Pana. He's not going to get it. He just turfed that one. Raz to Pana. And a run through D from Gillies. Peters standing still like he's stuck to the ground. Gillies gets an easy run through D. Regains possession for New York. Saul looks to Mike Hennessy around. Second life on this offensive point. Over to Faust. We're going to see if New York's shortened roster, injuries, inactive players, if all that is going to end up making a difference. He shows he's going to do it all for the team. He play in the final week matchup. Both teams are going to play either way, but you'll still be playing for the playoffs. No chance to face the steamrolling DC Current. So Philadelphia inbounds. Katzenbach calling out for a receiver, and nobody open. He's frustrated, nobody moving forward. Wind is picking up. It's a blustery day. Randolph swings to Glazer. There's up to Reno drop choke, guarded tightly by Brownlee. Brownlee thinks better of the bid. Up to Thorne. Thorne, nice little flick break. Cats him back. Gets the disc back. Up to Glazer. 1 minute left in the game. Spinner's on the goal line. Randolph around to Hiernet. Hiernet to Rainwater. And Rainwater to Rain. I drop Joe. So the spinner level south. Philadelphia in what I believe is or was tied for the lowest scoring game in MLU history. Certainly the lowest double overtime game. Philadelphia won 13-12. So New York has a 1-point win and a 1-point loss. Philadelphia, same thing, and a drop. Kuzmowicz calls a timeout. Colton's gonna pick it up, call a timeout. So Philadelphia's gonna put it into play. And if they just play catch, they'll be okay. Up to Brandolph. Brandolph, you remember, had that drop at the end of the Boston game that almost cost them the win. When Philadelphia hosted Boston back at Sweeney Field in Philadelphia. 3 seconds left.
10 seconds.
Oh, I was wrong. The crowd was counting and I fell for it. Looks like Philadelphia is going to be able to hold this one. There's going to be contact on the mark. Mazer fouls Hiernet. Philadelphia was going to get 10 more seconds on the clock, but they don't want 10 more seconds. That's going to do it. So Philadelphia, in keeping with tradition, pulls out a 1-point win over the New York Rumble. They're not in the playoffs yet, but they're alive. They're alive and they're kicking.